You hit that mic.
There's too much stuff like
Hold on.
here in front
Does
of
he
me.
have the audio?
Like this.
Does he have it's not on?
The audio?
Yeah, he's doing it.
Okay. Just wait until he gets that set up.
Right.
Do you want to double check that?
Homecoming, did you have fun? Good. Yeah. What were they, 80s this year? 50s? It's too far.
Good evening. I'd like to call the village board meeting for the Village of Cary for Tuesday, October 3rd, 2017 to order with roll call, please.
Kostler? Here. McAlpine?
Here.
Kraus? Here. Betts?
Here.
Weinhammer?
Here.
Cavelli?
Here.
Thank you. Before moving to the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd like to ask everybody to remain standing at the end of the pledge so we can have a moment of silence for our fellow Americans with the tragedy that happened in Las Vegas. We always have to remember the victims and the family, but also the first responders that help us in our hour of need. I think it's very important as a municipality. I believe that everybody is always a day away from something happening, and we have to bind together in this to make our great country safe, as well as the Village of Cary. So would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's nice.
All right, thank you. Could you please be seated? Brian, could you run out and see if there's anybody assigned here, please? We'll now move to the open forum where the public is invited to make an issue-oriented comment on any matter of public concern not otherwise on the agenda. We have nobody officially signed in. I'm sure that we'll hear from our constituents during the committee of the whole meeting. Before we get started, I have a couple of proclamations. The first one is National Red Ribbon.
I signed it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What did you want to talk about?
Well, there were people before me. He was starting brush pickup.
Oh, okay. You can come up now.
Okay. Today, I received on my door one of these things in brush pickup. And brush is supposed to be picked up, I believe, this week, and it's done typically here in Cary twice a year now. It used to be done every month, but now it's only done twice a year. This one says volume of brush is larger than 8 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot. Now, I guess I called Mark, who is, I believe, your Director of Public Works, and I spoke with him this morning.
He's the superintendent. Eric Morimoto is our Director of Public Works.
Oh, I spoke with you. I'm sorry. In any case, previously, I believe Chris was that correct?
Chris
Of Public
Paperniak about 3 years ago?
Yeah.
4
yeah.
years ago? Yeah.
And he was the one that implemented this policy. And at the time, I went and I voiced my complaints to him at the time, especially when he came out and didn't want to pick up a pile of brush that I had. And he came up with every excuse that he could as to why there's a size limit. I don't understand why there's a size limit. And then the problem is once you get beyond the size limit, then they want to charge you a fee. There isn't another community in this area or in other counties around here that charges a fee. This morning I was shared with the fact that, oh, well, no, this is like all other programs, that people have. And oh, by the way, Crystal Lake, they only do it once a year. We do it twice. Well, we used to do it all the time from March through November, okay? And Chris told me before, what he says is, oh, when you have a lot of it, just store it behind your garage. When I had more than one, and I'm like going, that's crazy, Chris. Then he says, oh, well, go put it over by your neighbors. And I said, that's crazy, Chris. What he eventually did was he turned around and he said, well, okay, you got a good argument. What we're trying to do is prevent people from coming into the village, being paid, to take down trees, and then we have to pick up their mess. But that's not taking into account residents that clean up their own and do their own trimming. I went and I looked at Crystal Lake, I looked at McHenry, I looked at Naperville, I looked at Barrington, I looked at Fox River Grove. They are all free with no limit of size. But the problem is, beyond the size limit and the fee, is it's inefficient. This morning, the truck pulls up. It took them 3 minutes. Now you have multiple people in the truck. 3 minutes to come to the door and put this thing on the door. Now, the last time I had the issue with Chris, I told him, I said, Chris, you got all this power equipment. It just takes a few minutes to put it in there. What's the deal? Even if you have a little bit more, or even twice as much. And Chris turned around and yeah, okay, fine. And I never had a problem. I took down whole trees and stuff and put it out there prior, and he picked it up. Or somebody did, I don't know. Anyway, now it's like, oh, okay, we'll give you a quote. So I get a quote for $50. McHenry, free. Naperville, free. Barrington, free. Fox River Grove, free. No size limit. Why is Kerry doing this? I mean, it makes no sense. Like I said, it took 3 minutes for them to get the tag on the door. They could have been stuffing the chipper. That is inefficient. I'm here because of that inefficiency. Fix the inefficiency. 1, it doesn't make sense. 2, it doesn't serve our residents. 3, it's inefficient. And a guy comes out and gives me a quote. How much time and labor have we paid that guy now to do that? It could have been done. That's all. If you have any questions,
We can look into that. We do have a process in place. I don't know if you were aware that every week Advanced Disposal will take your branches, as many as you put out every week, if you bundle them.
Do you know how long it takes to bundle them when you have a large amount?
I do. I live in a wooded lot, and I'm pretty much known in my neighborhood for bundling. I haven't had to use our branch pickup because I use the weekly.
Well, it's only in March and it's only in October. But I mean, like I said, my problem is the taxes here are higher than all these other communities. But the services are tremendously lacking. And I'm just turning around and trying to point out an efficiency that could be recognized here and provide a better service.
All right, thank you for your comments.
Could we have your name and address, please?
Yeah, my name is Randall Kohler, Kohler. Address is 352 Claire Lane, Cary, Illinois. And you can't miss it, it's got 2 big piles of brush out front.
Is there anybody else here who would like to address the village board on an unrelated item that's on the agenda? I have several people signed in for the committee of the whole, but not for the village board. Is there anybody that wants to talk to the village board about anything regarding unrelated village business right now? All right, we'll go ahead and close the open forum. I'm gonna keep that. Getting back to the one of the 2 proclamations, it's National Red Ribbon Week. Respect Yourself, Be Drug Free, October 23rd through the 31st, 2017. Whereas the Red Ribbon Campaign was established to honor the memory of drug enforcement agent Enrique Kiki Caminera, who was tortured and brutally murdered by drug traffickers in 1985 during a drug investigation, and whereas substance abuse is particularly damaging to one of our most valuable resources, our children, and a contributing factor in the 3 leading causes of death for teenagers: accidents, homicides, and suicides. And whereas it is the goal of a Red Ribbon Week and the Village of Cary to involve families, schools, businesses, churches, law enforcement agencies, and service organizations in all aspects of this campaign, and establish an atmosphere that supports awareness, education, and ongoing initiatives to prevent illegal drug use. And whereas the Red Ribbon Week campaign theme promotes family and individual responsibilities for living healthy, drug-free lifestyles without illegal drugs or the illegal use of legal drugs. And now therefore be it resolved that I, Mark Koenig, Mayor of the Village of Cary, support the efforts of the various community coalitions promoting the values emphasized in this campaign. Furthermore, the Cary Police Department will display red ribbons on patrol vehicles to honor Agent Enrique Caminera's memory, dated this third day of October 2017. And our second one this evening is World Polio Day, October 24th, 2017. Whereas the Rotary Club of Cary Grove is a member of the Rotary International, the world's first and still one of the largest nonprofit service organizations founded in Chicago, Illinois in 1905. And whereas the Rotary motto, service above self, inspires members to provide humanitarian service, encourage high ethical standards, and promote good will and peace in the world. And whereas Rotary in 1985 launched Polio Plus and spearheaded the global polio eradication initiative that today includes the World Health Organization's U.S. Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, UNICEF, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to immunize all the children of the world against polio. And whereas polio causes have dropped over 99.9% since 1988, and the world now stands on a threshold of eradicating this dreaded disease and thereby eliminating the threat of polio-caused paralysis to every child in the world. And whereas members of the Rotary Club of Cary Grove continue to contribute their time and their resources to support Polio Plus and the General Polio Eradication Initiative. And whereas their efforts are providing much-needed operational support, medical personnel, laboratory equipment, and educational materials for health workers and parents. Now, therefore, I, Mark Koenig, Mayor of the Village of Cary, do hereby proclaim October 24th, 2017 as World Polio Day in the Village of Cary, and do hereby encourage all residents to join Rotarians of the Rotary Club of Cary Grove in the fight for polio-free world, dated this third day of October 2017. Thank you. Moving on to regular business, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items number 1 through 7.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Betts,
Yes.
Kostler,
Yes.
Cavelli,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
McAlpine,
Yes.
Weinhammer.
Yes.
Okay. I have so much paperwork here that it's...
Here, sorry.
All right, moving forward to the minutes. I will entertain a motion to approve the September 19th, 2017 Village Board meeting minutes,
The original or the revised?
the original.
Okay, can we have discussion about that before we do that?
We need to have a motion in a
moved.
second.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I did want to discuss, because I didn't discuss last time the minutes, and you guys voted it down, so I wanted to discuss it this time. I had asked for things to be included in the minutes when I was speaking last time. I said I would like this reflected in the minutes. And again, what I had asked to be reflected in the minutes was not reflected in the minutes. I don't understand if something that occurred at a meeting happened, why we can't include it in the minutes.
You're looking for me?
I think it comes down to what we've agreed to in the past. If we want to change the way we want our minutes presented to us, then we need to have a discussion as a board and decide, do we want much more detailed minutes? Because what I'm reading here tonight is nothing more than a cheap, tawdry, romance novel. That's what we're seeing here with these minutes coming before us. And what we had presented to us tonight, I thought did a nice job of succinctly detailing what happened at the last meeting, at the previous meeting, back in May. It might even go that far back. In terms of what we want in terms of minutes. So if you want to include all this other information, then we can, but then we need to decide as a board, what do we want to see in these minutes?
Okay, so when I'm asking at the last board meeting to have something specifically included in the minutes, and this is the second time that it has not been included, I start to think you know what, village staff probably doesn't care if I'm asking for something to be in the minutes. I'm wondering if it's somebody here on the board. I'm sure Jake doesn't care if I asked for something to be in the minutes. So I'm wondering why, twice now, something that I asked to be included in the minutes has been excluded during the first revision.
Because I don't
first
feel
one.
they're necessary revisions that needed to be included in the minutes. That's
Okay,
that's
so
why I'm voting against them.
Here's the other thing. If this is up to interpretation of somebody to go ahead and put the minutes in, it's not my I don't know what somebody else is interpreting what I'm saying, but what somebody else may be interpreting what I'm saying may not even be accurate. Is anything that I have in here, is it false? Is there anything that I have in here that isn't true, that wasn't said?
I made a motion on the first minutes that were presented to us tonight, so that's all the discussion I
Can
have.
you just answer my question?
No, I won't.
Is there any other
I
discussion?
feel I've answered the question with my discussion.
Trustee Cavelli?
I'm just going to go based off of, just my experience over the years that, if a trustee wants something added, the question becomes is, did it happen? For me, okay, I'm just going to look at facts-based, that's it. If this in fact happened and a trustee wanted it, I'd rather us end these discussions, and I'd rather just go back to what I originally said. Can we just have a more detailed minutes so that we don't have these discussions every single meeting? But if it happened and a trustee wants it in there, I think we should honor that.
Kim, what we had presented to us tonight was pretty much what we asked for as a board. I thought they were it was clear. It kind of gave us a good outline of what the meeting was, what happened, what actions we took. And that's what we asked for in the minutes. What we're being asked for tonight is a verbatim, a dialogue, basically. He said, she said, I didn't say, I wanted to say this because it doesn't look good. That's basically what we're coming down to here. And I'm not in favor of that type of minutes.
Well,
Go ahead.
I would like to avoid all that. I really would. And that's why I think if we just had the straight minutes, period, I think it would just end that. And then every meeting that we no longer have to keep discussing this, and people no longer have to get upset about it from anyone. And so I'm just trying to mitigate this from happening every week that I come here, every 2 weeks I come here,
When you say straight minutes,
meaning
like
verbatim.
verbatim?
Yeah. Because otherwise, this is going to happen every time we come here.
Well, I think we're kind of getting away from what what we're supposed to be doing. I had communication today with our village clerk. She should be up and ready to roll back to her good health for the next meeting. As I said before, I'd like to have this discussion with her. We've discussed this before. I think having the high-level minutes that reflect what the board actions are quite sufficient, as the state statute mandates that we do. I think it's a conversation that we can have as a board, but every meeting to come back and have these, it takes staff time to go through and redo these things repetitively. When you have people on the board that don't want to have this. So we've got a divided board when it comes to this. I've always been very happy since I've been mayor with the way the minutes have been preserved and presented to the board. It's factual. It's exactly what happened. It's supposed to emulate what exactly happened, what actions were taken by the board, who voted for what, who voted against this, and primarily what was the discussion about. That's how minutes are supposed to be reflected. What you're asking for, and what I've heard from Trustee Kraus, is that you're asking more for verbatim. If we're going to do verbatim, it's got to be everything. It just can't be from what you want. It's got to be verbatim from what every word that I say, what every word Trustee Cavelli says, what every word Trustee Betts says. And I think that's a complete waste of time. It's not a good use of our staff time
Kind
to
of
be
going off
doing
on a
this.
tangent right now, because what I wanted to have included was something that I specifically asked at the last board meeting. I said, I would like this reflected in the minutes. And the last time at the previous board meeting, I said, I would like this reflected in the minutes. Twice now, it hasn't been included. Now, if Mrs. Betts or Trustee Betts asks for it to be included, it's included. But if I ask for it to be included, it's not included. So I have a problem with that. If I would like something to be in the minutes and I stayed in the meeting that I would like it in the minutes, I'm not sure why it can't be included. What I wanted to have changed was that in the last minutes, I did not even make a statement that was on there. I said, I didn't even say that. And I wanted that taken out. Look back at the video, it wasn't something I would even say. So you guys are approving minutes about things that I never even said, and I have a problem with that.
The only thing I would say is that there are things in here that are not verbatim what I say either. I mean, that's not the idea of it. The idea is to summarize a discussion and what happened. And I think sometimes we're getting bogged down in the details that I'm not sure what it's adding, how it's adding any value to it. I'm just, that's my concern, is that we're just getting way too entrenched in details that are not something that's board action.
Okay,
And that-
so when I asked just to have something included that I had specifically asked, just one thing then, and it's not included,
But
and
if
that's
you
happened
look at it,
twice.
now, if you look at what you have stated here, trustee Weinhammer, it says several times, trustee Weinhammer, trustee Weinhammer, trustee Weinhammer. As you just said that I had asked for something to be put in the minutes, I have never done that before yet.
Doesn't
So,
matter.
and if you look at this piece of paper, it's all it's all about you.
Do you want to know why? Yes,
It's all
it is,
about
because
you.
I asked for these changes to be made about something that I never, ever said. And then we had at the last board meeting, Mayor Koenig, not the last one, but a couple times before, you guys spent a ton of time giving me a hard time, saying that you wanted me to go and get this stuff verbatim, word for word, if I wanted it included. So I did exactly as you said. I went and got the stuff word for word. So that's all I'm asking for, is to have it stated that I never even said what was stated at the last minutes. I wanted it reflected in the minutes. I'm not sure why it's such a big deal, but you guys constantly want to write it, the minutes, how you see them to be fit.
Do you find that the minutes that are presented by staff are inaccurate on the board actions?
I actually don't think that staff is trying to deny when I say twice now at two separate times. I don't think it's staff.
That's not the question. Do you feel that the,
Can I finish my sentence? I don't feel that it's staff who is doing this. I feel that somebody on the board is maybe kind of telling them how to do it or what to leave out. That's my personal thought.
well, I think that you're incorrect in that thought.
That's my personal
But do
thought.
you feel that the minutes that are presented in the board packet, that they represent fairly what the board action was?
Well, when
Just
there's
answer yes or no.
No, when they're summarizing things, it's left interpretation. And when they're interpreting something that I said and it's not what I meant, then no, I don't agree with it.
Okay, then you can vote no on the minutes. And I'm going to go ahead and call roll call, please.
Costello,
No.
Cavelli,
No.
Kraus,
Yes.
McAlpine,
Yes.
Weinhammer,
No,
Betts,
Yes.
Koenig.
Yes. Now entertain a motion to approve the September 19th, 2017 Committee of the Whole meeting minutes. There are no edits or revisions on this, so they are as staff has presented
So
them.
moved.
Second.
Any questions, changes, edits?
Who was moved?
I
McAlpine.
moved.
And I second.
Roll call, please.
Cavelli,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
McAlpine,
Yes.
Weinhammer,
yes.
Betts,
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion to approve an ordinance amending Section 10.32.030 after snowfall and Section 10.32.100 all-night parking of the Code of Ordinances of the Village of Cary.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? We discussed this pretty much in full committee hall. Roll call, please.
I'm sorry, who moved?
Me.
Jim and Jeff.
Kraus,
Yes.
McAlpine,
Yes.
Weinhammer,
Yes.
Betts,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Cavelli.
Yes.
Thank you. Administrator's report, Jacob?
Can you get that slide, Brian? Mayor, the one item that I had here this evening was just related to the Meyer Material property. Wanted to give the village board a quick update. You've probably seen in the Cary News Weekly here regarding the removal of the berm that has started. It started on a northern section here. Over the next couple weeks, Meyer Material is going to be not only moving from this location, but moving south, and it's going to be the whole berm. It's going to have a pretty substantial impact to the property owners that live adjacent to Abbeywood. Wanted to provide that update to the village board here. Certainly, if you have any questions, we're happy to answer those.
Have you had any recent noise complaints?
We've had 2 noise complaints within the last day. They've come from the property, Brian, if you can move down in this location here. Well, yeah. They've come from the properties down on the southern portion of the site. Currently, right now, they're doing some trail work in that location, so that's expected. That trail work is going to continue here. We're probably going to get some calls regarding the trail work and then also related to the removal of the berm.
And the noise monitoring device, is that still out there?
That has been removed. The noise monitoring that was completed here, all the dredging operation was within their approvals.
Was the noise monitoring specifically for dredging, or was it for the equipment associated with the reclaiming of the property?
The noise monitoring equipment that was on the property was to monitor the dredging equipment. During the time periods that they were monitoring the dredging, obviously restoration activities were taking place out in the northern portion of the lake as well. But the current activities that are being performed during the day are restoration activities, which are compliant with our construction hours from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
So, sorry, are they no longer dredging in the evening then? Is that
There's
not?
still continuing the dredging 24 hours. The dredge currently is removing the peninsula in this portion of the property.
Okay.
So as that moves further south through the property, they're going to start removing the berm consistently with that dredge's movement.
So the dredge is still operating at night, but there is no noise monitoring device, correct?
Correct. The noise was monitored for a week time period to make sure it was compliant with the restrictions that we had in place, which it is compliant. It has the necessary noise baffling equipment installed on it. So the noise complaints we're receiving now are regarding restoration activities, not the dredge.
When the dredge was closer to the properties in Fox Trails, that's when the noise monitoring took place, so that we could get an accurate assessment of when it was close to those properties, what that noise was going to be.
So with the berm coming down, are we going to be out there checking to make sure the noise, I'll be honest, where I live, I mean, I can hear the traffic at night now and the noise from the dredging. And I mean, I'm not right along that berm, like right there, like some residents are. So that's just my concern, is that do we have something in place that would capture to make sure in fact that there isn't a violation of noise?
We can continue to monitor it, certainly. They're not going to have equipment that's up there 24/7 like it was before here, but it's something that we're going to have to keep our eye on. As far as my biggest, I guess I don't want to say concern, but expectation here is that we're going to get a few calls. We're going to get calls once that berm starts coming down. I believe that the village got a fair amount of calls from residents when that berm went up. This is going back to 2008 here, just due to the dust. I mean, there's a lot of dust that's going to be in the air due to this berm coming down. I mean, it's a pretty substantial berm. They've started, like I said, they've started with some of it. It's on the northern section. They actually took it down and then put it up here as a temporary in the time being. But over the next 2 to 3 weeks, they're really going to start hitting this thing, and it will impact the property owners that live adjacent to this, and we just have to be patient.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anything else?
Any other questions? No, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Department head reports. Brian, you're there. Do you have anything?
Just two quick updates regarding development in the community. As was reported to the board last week, Pearl's Cary Senior Living Facility, which is a senior housing development that's received zoning approval for the property directly behind the Cary Square Shopping Center next to the post office on 3 Oaks Road. They received approval through the Illinois Housing Development Authority for the financing for that project as of last Friday. So they're going to be moving forward with finalizing their development plans for that project. We'll be submitting for permits hopefully before the end of this year. But staff will be meeting with developers to discuss the status of the project and plans and permit process and also discuss with them the potential for developing a callback list or waiting list for that project for any seniors locally that are interested in that development. So no updates as of now as far as the number to contact, but we will be working with the developer on that to provide information. Hopefully we'll provide that information on our website or News Weekly blast for residents that are interested in that project. Secondly, I was just informed before meeting this evening that the Kids Are Kids facility on Crystal Lake Road passed their state inspection for a daycare facility today, which means that as of tomorrow, they will be open to the public for that facility. So it's a new welcome addition, new business coming to the community. Will be fully operational by tomorrow.
We solved the issues with the lighting at Kids Are Kids.
With the what?
lighting.
The lighting.
Remember Mark brought up?
About the lighting, did they put their shields on the lights?
From a lighting standpoint, we were inspected as part of their approval, so they would comply with our regulations as far as illumination levels at the property line.
They have to, there's a photometric plan that they have to comply with
Okay.
then.
So they're in compliance.
Yeah, currently.
Thank you. Director Moromoto? Nothing? Chief? Good. Any future agenda items in discussion by the village board?
I wanted to know if the board was interested in discussing, I know we had some emails back and forth, video gaming, any policies on that, or just discussion on it?
I'm just wondering, Jake, where we're at on the code of ethics policy. It's-
But before we get to that, can I see if there's a consensus for having a video gaming discussion?
Yes, I would like to see that as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought we discussed it last time, it was case by case, but if we want to have another discussion, I'm fine with that.
I think Jennifer brought up, or trustee Weinhammer brought up a couple of good points that I think that'd be good to get something solidified so that everybody's on the same page, so staff can be fluid in their responses to any particular developer or business that wants to come in. So I'd be up for that. Anybody else?
I'm fine. I thought we were doing case by case too, but if we want to discuss it further and come up with some different parameters, that's fine too.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
Right, so we will put that on a future agenda. And Jim, you wanted to talk about I think you've got that scheduled for a future.
Yeah, we're planning to have that at the next committee meeting,
Great.
the ethics discussion.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We will ramp up as soon as we get the